What's up, y'all? This is Ty. I am here to review Season 3, Episode 4 of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, and the episode is titled In Sheep's Clothing. Before I get into this review, you know what I gotta do. I gotta give a shout out to my lovely subscriber and those of you watching this show with me and leaving comments down below. Folks like Quentin Baptiste, the R.C. Kroger, Old Boogie Baby, Tayon's World, Lamont Simpson, Savannah Rivers, Amor Dupree, June BLC, and all the rest of you wonderful people. Thank you. Keep the comments coming. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, watch my other videos. Let's keep this channel doing what? Going and growing. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all that good stuff to you. It's Christmas Eve. I hope you're having a good time with your family and all that good stuff. That's wonderful. Now we got that out the way. Let's get down to this review of this episode. So it appears that Kanan's weed business is going pretty good for him. But what's happening here is it's going so well for him that his neighbor Paul, whose couriers he's using, it's affecting his business because those kids are either quitting and staying with Kanan because they're making more money, or they're getting themselves in trouble, getting arrested or whatever have you. Like we saw one of the young men got arrested and Kanan had to call his uncle Lulu down there to try to bail the guy out, pretend to be his uncle, whatever, because Kanan's trying to keep his business on the low from his mother Rock. Meanwhile, what's going on with Rock is we saw her buying that property with cash, and as she's coming out, I think she's gonna run like a beauty parlor or something, but we see she bought a storefront, and she's greeted by the friendly neighborhood police. And they're like, oh, welcome to the neighborhood, and, we're here to help you. Any other, but, they're watching her. We're here to help you. Then they mention her son. How's your son doing? Because we have a football team. This is all, they playing games here. They're playing games, and they effing with her. So that kind of triggered Rock, like, hold on, what's going on? So now we see in this episode, Rock is watching Kanan, and she sees some activities going on. So she goes to homeboy's school, and she's like, she meets him at school. She's like, what's going on? Who are your friends? And he's like, oh, they into things. They doing what they do. Because she said, your friends got beepers and stuff. What's going on? He's trying to play it off. Rock is not stupid. So he says, I'll see you later. I got to go to school. And she sees him going into school. And she sees him, going through the metal detectors. And then the light bulb goes off in her head. So what does she do? She then decides to go to Famous, and then remember, Famous was told, they were told her to go, she went to Famous's house, but remember, Kanan told her not to go, Kanan told Famous, don't you let my mother in here, don't let her in here, he smacked him up last week, don't let her in, and so she watches and waits to see later, she watches and waits till Kanan leaves and goes right in that house, but did y'all catch while she went into that house, the feds are still watching her, and they're taking pictures and looking at her because they're not buying that story about Crown being this drug lord. They're still watching her. And the feds are even still watching and talking to Detective Howard and questioning him about certain things because the math ain't math, and it's not adding up properly. So anyway, she goes in there, knocks on the door. Famous is kind of in between a rock and a hard place. So he says, who is it, whatever. He's like, and she said, open this door. And he's like, Kanan's not here. She said, don't F with me, open the door. Of course he was going to open the door for Rock. He opens the door for Rock. She's like, what y'all got going on here? This, that, and the third. He's trying, he's smoking weed. She see the weed all around the house. He's trying to say it was the neighbor. She's like, oh, they left their weed here? Really? So now the crazy thing is she takes out a gun and puts it in Kanan's book bag. And she told Famous, she said, you don't say nothing. You don't say nothing. Mind your business. Stay out of family business. And she gives him some money to stay quiet. And I'm thinking, if that was my homeboy, I'm going to still tell him, regardless of what she said. I would have told him. That's me. That's how I am with my friends. But I did understand why Famous did not tell him. Because Famous don't really want to do this drug dealing stuff anyway. He don't want to be in this weed business. He really didn't. Remember, he was like, we don't need to do that. So I think that's why he didn't say nothing to Kanan yet. He didn't say nothing. And he didn't say that. Now, what this has caused with him not saying nothing, the next day when Kanan goes to school with the book bag, he gets stopped in school. The metal detectors, I remember that. Back in the day, we used to have the metal detectors at my school too. And my school was a pretty decent school, but that's just how they did it back then. You had to go through the metal detectors. But when he went through that and it went off, and he's like, oh, ain't nothing in there. You know, he's like, ain't nothing metal in there. What? They start pulling out the stuff. There is a gun, because she planted the gun. So now he's in trouble. And then Rock comes in there in true Rock fashion. She come up to the school, fake appalled, because she's the one that planted. She's the one that planted the gun. She's fake appalled. And they speaking to the principal, and he's like, I did not, Ma, that's not my gun. I didn't do that. But she's so clever. She says, listen, you know, we had a tragedy happen at my home, so perhaps he got this gun to defend himself. And the principal kind of went along with that too. And then she said, lucky for you, somebody likes you down at the precinct. The police are looking out for you. They're not going to press any charges. But now this has opened up a ACS case, and you got to be at his mother's house, where ACS is going to come and check up on them, and they got to do this for at least, I think they said 6 months or something like that. So that was very clever on Rock's part. Kind of devious, but it kind of worked. It's kind of, she's gotten him back home, basically. So she's gotten him back home. But my question is, how is he going to run his business? Or is he going to continue to run his business? I think he's still going to continue to run his business. Even though now he has this curfew, he got to be back home. This is Kanan we talking about. He's going to figure out a way, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to definitely figure out a way. So that's in place. She's got that. She's knocked that out. But then there's this other situation, her situation with Unique, who she's been messing around with. And we saw in this episode, Unique's girlfriend has confronted him like, who you messing with? You know, she upset, rah, 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 rah. Who you messing with, this, that, and the third. And now we see Rock and Unique having their relations in the kitchen, whatever. And she tells him now that Kanan's coming back, she's like, listen. But she said to him, listen, I'm going clean. I can't, you know, we messing around and stuff, but I can't have you over here like that. And I can't, let's take a pause on this. And that made sense. I understood that. Let's take a pause on this. So she told him, let's take a pause on it. And he seemed to be okay with it, which that was interesting. And we also saw Unique in this episode dealing with Quan and trying to get that business off the ground. And while he's still trying to get this business off the ground, his brother, Crazy Ronnie, is going behind his back and trying to make some moves of his own. And we see him go to this older couple, and that's the gentleman from, I forget his name. He's a good, Wendell Pierce, good actor, Wendell Pierce. It introduces Wendell Pierce's character and his old lady or whatever. And they're like former drug dealers who kind of still connected. And he goes to them and they tell him, listen, Ronnie, you want to work with us, you got to give us a piece of it. You want to borrow, he needs to borrow money because he don't have nothing. And he's going behind Unique's back, and he just can't wait. He want it now. He's just stressing it. And they're like, he's like, oh, he's screwing with, he says Unique is screwing with Rock. And it was like, well, we heard Rock was out of the business anyway. So all of that's going on. We see Ronnie go to Dean, and Dean is someone who does not mess with Unique. But see, Ronnie is out of touch. He don't know what's going on. So he went to this one guy. He went to the Wendell Pierce's character. He went to him, and he did get some money. But he told him, listen, you got to get the rest from somebody else. You got to group up. So he's going around town dealing with people that they're not really trying to feel him or see him. And then when he go to see Dean, Dean was like, I don't mess with you, and get on up out of here. But then Dean went ahead and told Unique. So that was crazy right there. I said, see, but this Ronnie is bugged out. Ronnie is completely bugged out. So Unique confronted his brother. And so now we have this whole thing of that tension right there between them. And Ronnie was like, I ain't seen nobody. What are you talking about? And he's like, see, you full of it, because I know you seen somebody. You full of it. So that was that. So that's that family dynamic. Those two brothers, that's not so good. But speaking of brothers, Two other brothers, Lulu and Marvin, they seem to be getting along well in this episode. Marvin been drunk all season and depressed and pissed off, but he's finding his not Marvin, I'm sorry. Lulu has been drunk all season. My apologies, not Marvin, Lulu. Lulu has been drunk all season and depressed. And he found his groove with this little club, whatever, where the woman knows, the club owner knows their father, E-Train. So we see a scene where he's apologizing to Marvin about missing Jukebox's audition. But the great thing is, Jukebox nailed it. She aced it. I was happy for her too. She aced it. She's in the group. The group is going to be called Butter. That's really cool. So Marvin is excited, and Marvin tells Lulu about it. And he's like, listen, yeah, you messed up. You know you messed up, but he said, well, listen, I want you to come with me. I want to show you something. So Lulu takes Marvin down to that club, and they want to do business there with the lady, and they know that this is their father's friend. She knew the father, whatever. She's all in agreement. Marvin is in agreement with doing business here, but Marvin want to move some drugs up in there. And Lulu was like, no, let's keep this clean. I don't want no drugs up in this. You can make money off the door, off the liquor, and things like that. But I thought the scenes with those two brothers was funny, especially at the house when Marvin was telling Lulu, go take a shower too. Come on, clean yourself up. I thought that was funny. So after that, let's go to Jukebox. Isn't that cool? I'm like, where's this going to go? She's in this group. The group is called Butter. She's excited. She met the other two girls. One of the girls is real stuck up acting like a diva already. Ain't got nothing, acting like a diva already. And it was funny how that record exec pretty much put her in place and was like, she was like, I don't think I like that name because her name is Butter, B-U-T-T-A. And she was like, I don't think I like that name. She said, I don't care. I don't think I care. She said, I'm God. Your opinion don't matter. I don't care what you think. I'm God. I come before your parents. I come before your friends. I come before your thoughts. Real grimy stuff she was saying, manipulative stuff, because that's what they do in the music industry too. They manipulate like that. That's how they keep all the money. And a lot of these artists sell all these records and go broke. So I'm interested to see how that's all going to play out. I feel like Jukebox is going to... she's going to end up clashing with that girl, because that girl always tried to say some slick stuff when she was like, oh yeah, your name is Boombox, right? Like trying to be funny. So that was interesting right there. Very interesting right there, which happened with that. And then we also saw Marvin reuniting again with his friend Gerald. They were in that meeting together, the focus group, where they help each other out. And, that woman is dead, Renee is dead. And so he met with Gerald. He learned that Gerald is an editor. I think that was at the Village Voice. He learned that he's an editor and that he's into that entertainment thing, whatever. So they've made a pact to be each other's support and start their own support group, because Gerald mentioned how he missed the support groups and things of that nature. So that was interesting as well. And then we also saw Detective Howard in here in this episode telling Rock, like, I'm done doing favors for you and your son. Listen, our son, I'm done doing favors. You got to figure this stuff out yourself. You got to keep it clean. The feds are not buying these stories. You got to keep it clean, this, that, and the third. But now, let's get down to this crazy Ronnie. Ronnie is a psychopath. He is a complete... And then I like how they're slowly letting him unravel. And each episode he do something. So at the end of this episode, we see Dean, and Dean is in there with his aunt. I said something about to happen. Dean over there with his aunt, and he's fixing the hearing aid or whatever. And then when he goes in the kitchen, we see in the shadows somebody in the basement. It is crazy Ronnie. Ronnie came in there, picked up that knife, grabbed him up like this, stabbed him to death. He done killed Dean. And that's because he killed Dean for simply snitching and telling Unique. That's all he killed him for, because he told Unique that Ronnie went there. So now he's lost his trust of his brother. So now he's like, since you want to tell on me, now I got to kill you. That Ronnie, I'm telling you, he's out for blood. He's crazy, but I like his character. He's so weird. He's so weird and cold. He don't smile. He don't dance. He's focused. He wants the bag. He wants to be back in the game. That's all he care about. He don't care about nothing else but that. He don't care who he hurts. He's crazy, and I think he's gonna come after Rock or something next. That's what I think, cause he's got tunnel vision. He want the money now. We need to be on top. I don't care nothing about that. We need to be on top. But I thought this was a really good episode, even though this season is moving at a little bit of a slow pace. They're still giving us some action. But I thought this was a good episode. But I like how they're slowly unraveling this stuff with Ronnie. And, you know, something, I can feel it. Something's going to go crazy. Something's going to really be like, leave us like, oh, shoot. But now, what's the repercussions of killing Dean? You know what I'm saying? And where was Dean's people at? Like, well, I guess, you know, you can't never let your guard down, right? Dean, even at your auntie's house, you can't let your guard down. But that was crazy. But that's all I have for now. Tell me your thoughts. Did you like this episode? How are you liking this season so far? That's all I got. I thought it was good. What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know down below. So, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Have yourself a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all that good stuff. And I will see you all in the next video.